Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to another Jummah Reminder series with the University of Michigan Dearborn. In life, there are many times a person is put through a trial. He may be tested, whether it's through his wealth, his family, his workplace, anything. He can be tested and tried from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's a great example, right? That when a person is well off and he's in the best part of his life and he's enjoying himself and everything, he says, this is all from me, all my successes from me. And he forgets that everything he has is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when it's taken away from him, he turns to Allah and he says, why did you take it away from me? Right? Not forgetting that the one who gave it to him in the first place was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is the one, whatever He wills that His servants will get, or whatever will befall them, that is what will befall them, or what else will be given to them. Even if the entire world wanted to do otherwise, they would not be able to do so. And if the person wanted to get something good, and Allah had not willed it, then he would not be able to receive that, even if every single person in the world wanted to give him that thing. And subhanAllah, we find from the many stories in our sunnah, in our hadith, in our Quran, that the truly righteous people, that they became more thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they were tried and when they were tested with calamities. Before I go into one of these stories, I want to actually tell a personal story that one of my relatives has told me. And the story goes that my relative, he was trying to get a ride in Medina, and while he was trying to find a ride, one person drove by, Pakistani brother. He asked if you're okay and everything. He said, yeah, I need to get a ride to this place and place. I have something over there. He said, I live over there. Why don't you come with me, right? Like a free taxi, basically. So he got into the car, and they started communicating, both from Pakistan and everything, speaking Urdu, everything. And then my relative, he asked this person, like, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? You're driving a nice fancy car here in Medina, big fancy SUV. Why don't you tell me yourself? So he said, the person, he said, I came from a certain region in Pakistan, and over there, like, I had a very successful family business. We were well off, we were well taken care of. I had a nice, lavish lifestyle over there. And some people I knew in Saudi, my friends, they said, why don't you come and open up a business here in Medina, right? We got this amazing opportunity for you. You'll make a lot of money, stable job, everything, and you'll be in Medina. So the person, this person, he's like, well, why not, right? It's Medina Munawwara, it's blessed city, I can all that. So he said, I sold my business in Pakistan, and he was a single guy, obviously at that time. And he said, I packed up my stuff and I went to Medina. He said, I arrived at the airport, I was wearing a nice suit, nice clothes and everything. And my friends, they came to pick me up in this big SUV and everything. And that night they took me around like Medina and showed me all the nice places and everything. Like, like the first day, right? Just getting in the city and everything. So the next day was supposed to be my first day of work. So I wanted to leave a good impression, wore a nice suit, everything. And my friends were like, why are you wearing this nice suit? He's like, I want to leave a nice impression. He said, no, don't worry, just wear something normal. Don't wear anything fancy. And he's like, okay. So he said, I wore some normal clothes and they took me. And he said, my friends, they took me to the fish market of Medina. And they approached the stall and they said, here's your new job. And this wonderful opportunity told me, and he was just shocked, and he turned around to his friend who bought him there and he slapped him because he's like, you dragged me from a wonderful job in Pakistan and everything, left my family and everything, and just to come here and clean fishes. And his friends didn't say anything and they left him there. And for those of you who know how it is, so when you go work in Saudi Arabia, you don't keep your passport. Your provider or the person sponsoring you keeps the passport. And obviously that means you can't travel at will and everything. So he said, I was stuck there, right? Because I couldn't go back and everything. So he said, the next couple of years, I just started scaling fishes in the market of Medina. And he said, I used to, when Salat time used to come, I used to go to the Prophet's mosque, and I used to go pray there, and people, they would stay away from me because of the smell of fish I had on myself. And he said, every time I used to pray, I used to cry, Allah subhanahu, get me out of this, get me, help me. And he said, one time I was working, and I was reading the newspaper, and there was this ad that there was a new hotel opening up, and they're looking for a bellhop. And he said, I didn't even know what a bellhop was, right? A bellhop boy. But he said, what? At least it's better than cutting up fish and everything. So he said, he applied. And he said, I started off as a bellhop. And next to media. But then after that, every single day, when prayer time used to come, I used to go to masjid, Prophet's mosque, praise Allah, make my dua, make my zikr. He said, now fast forward, that was like 10, 12 years ago. Now this person, Pakistani brother, was a manager at the very hotel where he was first a bellhop. He said, now I look back in my life, and he said, no, I have a family, I'm married, I have kids, I live in Medina next to Ta'if, I have a wonderful house, big SUV. He said, now the thing I'm most appreciative is that every single day I get to go and pray in the Prophet's mosque, and I get to make dua, and I get to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one of the most best places in the world. So just look at that this is something that is so negative, and he turned it around into a positive, right? That even when he was let down, he never gave up that, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah rewarded him greatly for that. And of course, this is just a normal person, and you want to look at someone who was grateful for everything he had. Look at the story of Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam. Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam was a prophet that he was blessed with so much wealth and so much land, and he was known for his beauty. And no matter how much he had, he always thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, realizing this was all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to make an example and show him. And first of all, he took the land of Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam, right? But even when all his land and cattle and everything destroyed and taken away, he turned to Allah and he said, thank you, Allah. He didn't shed a tear of remorse or anything. Then his children, all of them, they were killed in one night, but never did he return, he got angry. He turned to us, this is all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And finally his skin, he got disease so bad that his skin was so decayed and had smell, and people would be staying away from him because they were afraid of what he was going to get. So not only was he sick, but now everyone besides his own wife would not approach him, right? And some reports said that sometimes he would have worms coming out of his body because of how the disease was, and he would remove those worms and he would praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, there are some reports. But subhanAllah, throughout this entire predicament, that he never ever once regretted or never said, why did you test me with this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, in these times he was more thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all these tests and all these miracles that he has given to him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, he returned everything back to him in the end. But I just want you to realize that subhanAllah, just look at our own lives. If one thing bad happens to us, right? We don't get that one grade we want, or we don't get that job we want, or whatever it is, right? We get so angry, we get, it's not fair, we get, we go all off, not realizing that every single thing that happens to us is a test from Allah. And we talk about, right, if you're broken, do you ever hear this on? You're broken, build yourself back up stronger than ever. So if something comes with you, deal with it with patience, right? Try to realize that, try to find the good in everything. Try to be optimistic. This is what, as a Muslim, this is how we're supposed to live our lives. We're not supposed to be looking down and complaining and all that. Rather, when something bad happens to us, we have to get up. We have to, be stronger. We have to learn from it. Look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So many struggles and so many hardships. We can be here all day and we wouldn't be able to, go over all of them. But just realize that even with all those hardships and all that, he was very patient. He placed his trust in Allah. So we should all try to strive to do the same. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.